Hi, welcome to the Properties Debugging Guide video. In the community, there are a number of articles that will help in understanding debugging properties within a process using Groovy scripting. This video helps illustrate this. I have here a Groovy script that will display the properties. I have configured this to run in branch 1, as this will output the properties into and override the current document for display purposes. In branch 2, this is showing what a decision shape looks like when interrogating an input API header property as an example. And branch 2 also has a decision shape that will return a true document or a failure document just for purposes of this example. Let's run our API with our header and pass in some accurate values. So I've got Postman here. I'm going to clean this up a bit. So have Postman, here's our header, here's our API header value, and here's our value to test. So let's run this in. We can see our response is success. However, let's pass in the same value but change the case. So it looks like it should be successful but actually fails. Let's capitalize the V, for example. Okay, so that's the right value, although case is wrong. That's the right value and it's the right header. In my example, I've set this up in such a way that we know it will work. However, if you just develop this, and this was the first time running, then we may not understand why our value is a failure. We may, because we know this value kind of was okay. It is right, the case is wrong, obviously, but it's the kind of value, it can be easily misinterpreted between the right and wrong. So let's have a look at what process reporting looks like on that failure. As I said, it outputs the properties to a notify shape in branch 1. We can see the output. So here we can see our output of our properties, and we can see the value to test is there. And actually, we can see that it's a capital V. This now check what our decision shape was trying to look for. Actually, it's a lowercase. So there's a good example of why the case makes a difference. So let's reset that. Pass it in again, and it's success. Check our property output again. Lowercase v, all good. So again, what we can see here is let's send in a new header. Can we understand what the header is that we're passing in? It's still success because that's not the header we're testing. That's not the value we're testing. Do we get that? Because we don't actually know what that property is. That's the point. We actually do get that. We can see that's coming in as well. It's not what we're expecting, but we now understand that we're getting that in here. Now, I haven't got a property that looks for that specifically. That's the beauty of this script. It will pull all of those properties out and show them. Now, another good point here to prove what we're getting out and why it's not working. Let's take our headers. And now actually what we're going to do, I'm going to pass in a header The header has the wrong case, but it has the right value there. And we also have it already in here. So let's have a look. No, that's a failure. Why is that a failure? What are we getting? Why are we not getting? We've already tested this and we know it works. So there's our header 2 we saw. Up below, there's no header with a capital H. So the lowercase is overridden that, and it's overridden that, and that means that we're not actually getting that header now. That means our test fails because that header hasn't even come through in the API because it's been overridden. Now, that's another very good point. We can have a look. Why is it not here? Our header's not here. It was here, it's now not. We've now got a lowercase header. That's not being searched for on our constant. We're looking for capital H in our header. So we can see in both cases why that it is important to double check using the properties script for debugging purposes as to what kind of results you're getting and why. And you can also see what's happening when you change those header values. So that shows the importance of exposing the properties. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this helps.